Welcome back to Sonoma County Library's book repair video series, and we are in the second part, volume 2, part 2 of easy covering. And today we're going to learn how to apply the easy covers, the plastic covers that we cut in the last video. Okay, so we're going to start with, again, I always start with the back of the book. Now I'm going to just tell you, you don't need to. If you want to, you can, but you're just wasting precious time. Once you've measured it, you don't need to measure it again. These have been measured. You're good. You're good. You did it. You did it. A lot of people try to then measure it and do all this, and it's just a waste of time. We're just going to apply them because we know you did it right. Okay, so the first thing I do is I peel off the backing on the adhesive. Now, very important with this strip, I'm just going to tell you that if you try to peel it like this, a lot of times it will rip right here and you'll be unhappy. So just peel it naturally in the direction it wants to go. I take it, and always working from the middle. Almost everything in mending has to do with the middle. I flip it over and I just line it up to the edge. I then make a quick seal on the book right here. To peel off the paper, I like to hold it and then just grab it in the other hand. This sometimes is the trickiest thing for a lot of people, if you have nails or not. Now, this technique that I'm going to show you is designed not to have any bubbles or any need to smooth it out, because you're going to do it all in one swell swoop or fell swoop. So I peel it, I grab it from the bottom, and I flip it. So I take it and I peel it from the bottom, and I just keep it as low as possible so no air can get into it. And I just keep moving it towards the edge, and there you go. Now, everybody else will take a thing and go like this, but it doesn't really change anything. But you will find some people like to use the bone and go over it. I'm doing hundreds of these at a time, so I'm not going to take the time. I'm going to do it right the first time. Okay, so as you can see, it's nice on there. Everything's to the edge. Now, for the cover, I recommend hanging the spine off the edge of the table. A thank you to Cloverdale and Guerneville. They had sent us a bunch of Yaps and JPs that they wanted changed, and so we have a lot of stuff to work with. So I hang it over the edge, and I'll tell you why. If you're doing it here, this flap is like so sticky and it will stick to the table. Then the next thing you know, it's stuck to the label and you don't have it on right. You got to make a new label. It's stuck to your hair. It's stuck your jewelry. So I like to hang it slightly off the edge of the table. Again, I don't bother measuring because I know it's perfect. I take my strip and I peel it off in the direction it wants to go. I take it, and from the middle, I just slide it in. Make sure I line it up. Make sure this area is lined up. And see how it's hanging over, but it's not touching anything? I use my finger just to seal this down. I lift the whole book, and I turn it over, and I use the table or whatever work surface I'm on to do the hard work. And again, working from the middle, I pull the flap in the middle, and then I just run. Not an air bubble to be heard. Okay, now the technique for the front is different than the technique we did on the back. On the back, we undid it and then made sure there was no air in. We kept it as low as possible. For the front, we can't do that because it just has its own natural. So we take the top off, and we're going to do what I call walking the dog. Again, from the middle, we walk it, we bend it a little bit, and we walk it down as low as possible to not get any air in. Voila! Perfect every time. Oh, there we go, a little bit of flap there. Okay, you can either take a pair of scissors and trim the flap with scissors, or if you're skilled, and believe me, I use that word seriously, skilled at working with an X-Acto knife, you can just run your X-Acto knife and just run it down. Okay, and always cut away from the body. Now, if by chance you did get an air bubble, which I don't hear any, feel any, if there was an air bubble, what you would do is you would prick it till it goes all the way down to the book, and then you can take your bone folder or your paddle and just get all the air out. Okay. A lot of people like to do this over the barcode, and it's up to you. Now, I will also tell you that I have just shown you in 2 videos how to easy cover a book. Trust me, you will find your own way to do it. I suggest you follow this, and then you will come up with the way that works the best for you, mentally and physically. I'm going to show you how to apply it on this one, and then we'll be done for today. So again, back of the book. I'm not going to bother testing if I measured it correctly. I'm going to take my strip off. I'm going to pull it in the direction it wants to go. I'm going to start with it from the middle. I'm going to line it up. Sometimes you need to play with it a bit, especially if the cover's white. I make sure this is down good. I'm running a finger along it. I then take and this is where I used to really suck at it, but I'm much better now. And then again, once I get it started, I then working with it as close to the book as possible. I peel it, and it's perfect every time. Okay, I flip the book over. What am I going to do? I'm going to pull it towards me and hang it over the edge of the table. Again, I'm going to peel my strip off. This time, though, I'm only going to put it up to the edge of the cover. This is an unusual cover, and we showed it to you in the first video. Once I get that nice and aligned, I make sure I strip here. Again, I flip the book over, and using the book, I roll it. I use the table, seal it, always working from the middle. I pull it towards me in the middle, and the sides just line up. Okay, now we're gonna walk the dog. Gonna take a little stroll to the dog park. Here we go. I peel off my backing, and then I'm gonna curve it, and I'm gonna walk the dog. The sides, if I do it from the middle, the sides will naturally, automatically line up. If you try to walk the dog from over here, it's not going to line up. If you try to do it from over here, it's not going to line up. Okay, And again, just to show you, I got a little bit of the flap. Don't know. Now, don't forget, these are not brand new books that I'm working with, so they may be a little off. Okay, so there's a few things I'd like to touch base with when you're doing easy covers. A lot of people always want to know why it is that when we easy cover a book, we do not put all the way to the edge with either side, the thick side. We just let the flap. Because if you put the easy cover all the way to the edge here and all the way to the edge here, it would be so tight. That's about as far as you'd be able to open it. And it would it's just not good for the book. That's why there's that flap that covers this part and protects it. So the other thing I wanted to point out is many times when we're easy covering older books in our collection that never got protected, you're going to come across with paperbacks. For some reason, they tend to get dog-eared more. So I usually keep my dog-ear kit handy. You know, I use a water pen, but you use just, you know, have your thing ready to do dog ears. And the other thing is, you're going to want to, like a lot of these are going into the collection and they need some kind of help. So you're going to want to touch up here, do some little touch up. I let the easy cover do the repair work because they're so strong, it'll fix that little tear. The other thing too is when you're working with a book that has corners that are flipped up, when I'm putting the easy cover on, I let it do the work. So I use this to straighten it out. Now the other thing is sometimes you may notice that a corner, because it is a little more rounded, has a point on it. You know, I don't want anybody to hurt themselves or cut them. So sometimes I will trim and make it smooth with a pair of scissors. So things like this you can touch up if you need to do any work to it or clean. Like this is a brand new book we're adding, but it has some dirt here and here, so I would just clean that. Now, if the corner is really like split or something, then you would want to follow the mending video for corners and glue, straighten it out. And that is the wonderful world of easy covering. Again, we highly recommend that you easy cover the books that you're moving from JP to YAP. Okay, thank you all. See you next time.